everybody. We have to be very quiet because Teddy's getting ready for bed. Today, we have a great story about foxes. In a very noisy house, in a very noisy city, live 3 noisy foxes. Chitter, ring, ring, Nina, Nina. They spend all day being very noisy, mixing, fixing, hopping and bopping, banging and clanging. Wouldn't it be nice to be quiet sometimes? Asked fox number 1. Perhaps we should move to the countryside, suggested fox number 2. What a good idea, replied fox number 3. Honk, honk, vroom! So they packed all of their noisy things and caught the very noisy bus to find a place to live in the very quiet countryside. Toot, 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 beep, 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 tweet-toot! In a very quiet wood, in the very quiet countryside, they met an owl. Tweet-toot! Who are you? Hooted the owl. We are from the very noisy city, looking for a quiet place to live, replied fox number 1. Where do you live, owl? I live up here at the top of the very tall, quiet tree, the owl said. Oh yes, it is quiet, but it is too high for us, said fox number 1. We're scared. Next, in the very quiet meadow, in the very quiet countryside, the noisy foxes met a mole, who popped up out of the ground. Hello, mole. We are from the noisy city, looking for a quiet place to live. Can you help us? Asked fox number 2. Oh yes, I live in a very quiet place, replied the mole. Follow me, and I'll show you. I live here, in this very quiet hole underground, said the mole. Oh yes, it is very quiet, but it is too dark for us, said fox number 2. We can't see. And I'm stuck. In a very quiet clearing, in the very quiet countryside, the noisy foxes met a frog. Ribbit, ribbit. What do you 3 noisy foxes want? The frog asked. We are looking for a quiet place to live, said fox number 3. Where do you live, frog? Come with me, and I'll show you, replied the frog. I live here, in this very quiet pond, said the frog. Oh yes, it is very quiet indeed, but it is too wet for us, said fox number 3. And we can't swim. So the 3 noisy foxes kept searching for a very, very long time, and they ended up in the very quietest parts of the countryside, a long, long way from the very noisy city. As they ventured along the very quiet path, they met a badger. Hello, badger. We are looking for a quiet place to live, said the noisy foxes. Can you help us? We have looked everywhere. Yes, of course. Follow me, replied the badger. This is where I live, said the badger. It is the quietest place in all of the countryside. Oh yes, it is really very quiet and very lovely. It might be just the perfect place, said the noisy foxes. But it is just too quiet. The noisy foxes were really fed up with being quiet. So they started to make some noise. As they banged and clanged and chittered and chattered, a quiet little mouse scurried up to them. What is all this noise about? Asked the quiet little mouse. We need a place to live, but it can't be too high. It can't be too dark. It can't be too wet, and definitely can't be too quiet, replied the noisy foxes. I know the perfect place, squeaked the mouse. Follow me. Well done, little mouse. This really is the perfect place. I hope that you enjoyed that bedtime story. I did, and Teddy must have. He's fast asleep. Good night, everyone.